What is up, guys? Welcome back to today's video, and in this video me and Mango are going to be helping you a little bit with everything you need to know about your Crested Gecko, whether it be new or new to come, which is preferred. This video is going to tell you everything. Before we get into today's video, we are going to have a little talk about what I mean by complete. So I'm going to tell you basically everything you need to know about these little guys and give you the basic gist. If you watch this only video, you should be alright with caring for a Crested Gecko, but never make this your only research source, because you gotta be responsible when you're caring for any pet, and pretty sure these guys are pretty cool pets, so you're gonna want to make sure you do your research and everything that needs to be done for these guys. So not this one video, because there could be some things I didn't cover that you still have questions about, and if you have questions, be sure to comment them, because I can answer basically anything. But you're going to want to search some few things, look at other videos, and all that kind of stuff. So don't make this your only source of research, and watch another video too. Alrighty guys, so first thing we're going to be talking about is housing. So I recommend at least bare minimum, never any below this, is a 10-gallon minimum for a single adult. I say single because, first of all, it's small, but they gotta have some space. So you don't want to do anything less than 10 gallons for a single adult. I personally like to go 20 gallons, right in the middle of what a lot of people like to do. A lot of people like to go with the 18 by 18 by 24. Those measurements that I did with my hand were just wrong. It's supposed to be like 18. I think it's 18, then 24. So don't mind that. But so that is a 30-gallon tank. I think that is great. Bigger is better when they're adults. But if you're really you don't have a lot of space like I do, then I just like to stick with the 20-gallon, which is what I have this guy and this girl in. But sorry, she's new, guys. But it's like a pretty good size for one adult. 10 gallons is a little small, but if that's what you have to work with, it'll work. So you might have noticed how I said only one adult. You don't want to house multiple of these species together, because aggression, all that kind of stuff, they just don't get along well with everybody else. You can house females together. It has been done. And you can house them together for breeding, which I know nothing about, so click off this video if you want to know about breeding. I might have a video in the future, probably not, but if that's what you're looking at this video for, don't watch it. But, or no, actually, stay watching, because you can probably get a few tips from here that you wouldn't know anywhere else. But I just don't like to do cohabbing. It's a big hassle to deal with, and you don't want to take any risks with your animal. Just stick to one, unless you're very advanced, which you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But if you're very advanced with these guys, just kind of stay away from cohabbing, and yeah. Now you have your tank with your one Crested Gecko, and you're looking at it pretty bare, right? So we're going to talk about what you need to fill it with. So when it comes to substrate, these guys are really great with this impaction risk, because they're not on the ground too much, and they're not eating on the ground too much, which is a good thing when, that's the whole reason impaction happens, is when they eat on the substrate, they inhale a little bit of that with a lot of other geckos. But Crested Geckos, these guys don't really have a problem with it. So substrate, Eco Earth is a great naturalistic little substrate there. But a lot of people like to just use paper towels because it's easier. Some people use carpet. I used to use carpet. I just don't think it looks the best, and it's not that sanitary. So just a little rinse, that's the theory. Just a little rinse and get all the bacteria out. It just really doesn't work, and there's been reports of claws getting stuck in it and whole ER visits. So I'd stay away from carpets, obviously, or maybe not obviously because we haven't covered that, but like no sands or anything. Humidity holding substrates. Some people use Reptibark. You can use Reptibark. It doesn't hold humidity in the best, but it works. But for this guy, I just, like a lot of people use for breeding, I just put some sphagnum moss right at the bottom because I have a converted tank, so it doesn't hold that much at the bottom. So I just put a little bit of moss in there, and she seems to love it. So now you got your tank with your substrate and still looking empty, so we're gonna fill it with our hardscape, if you will, kind of aquarium term, but like I think it works here. Some wood is great, like sandblasted grapevine, I think it's called Mopani wood. Just any kind of wood, even wood from outside that you disinfect. I may have a video about that in the future, so be sure to watch that if this is a old video or something. But so wood is a great climbing source for them, very naturalistic. I use it in my enclosures, and it's great. So with the hardscape, now it's still looking empty, so we're gonna fill it with our greenery. You can use real plants, and bioactive is great by all means. You're gonna have to do a little bit of modification to the substrate for the drainage layer and all that, but if you just want to go simple, then fake plants work. Just suction cup plants or magnetic plants, some kind of plastic plants that you can put coverage in around the enclosure. Give them a place to feel secure and to hide in, because I find her hiding all throughout the day in her plastic plants, and they do great. So just put a few plants all around the walls, and yeah. Alright guys, so our next topic that we're getting into is our feeding. So what makes these guys, in my opinion, the best beginner reptile of all is their diet. So these guys come from New Caledonia, where they eat rotting fruits and insects in the wild. And in captivity here, we've made a powdered diet that you can get in almost any pet store, even big chain pet stores. You can find this stuff, and it's relatively cheap. Pangea's a little pricey though. But this guy loves his CGD and Crested Gecko diet, but it's literally just powdered mix that you put a little bit of water in, and you mix it up, and this is what they eat. It has all their protein, calcium, all this fruit. They love it, first of all. So unless you get a picky one, I mean, you can get it to eat whatever you like need it to eat, but picky geckos are a little bit harder to handle with that. She is not a very picky girl. She will eat, but the great thing about this is, since the insects are already included in the diet, you don't need to feed live insects at all. So a lot of people say you need to. They'll love insects in their diet. I think it was like 2 times weekly is the recommended amount. And then just diet like every other day. But so the diet I'd go every day with babies, and the juveniles like her, I go every 2 days. And then with our adults here, some people like to go like 2 to 3 times a week, so maybe 2 to 3 days in between their feeding gap. I'd continue to go with every 2 days just to get them to eat, and but yeah, so as long as you have their diet in there, you don't need to feed live insects. They can live a perfectly healthy life without it. And yeah, so with this food in our cage, preferably on a feeding ledge, not on the bottom. I mean, they can eat off the bottom, but it's not preferred. So up on the side or something with a magnetic or suction cup feeding ledge. Now with that food in there, we're going to be talking about their temperaments. So these guys are a humidity loving species because they are from the tropics. So They're gonna love a misted cage, so every day and night is what I do. You could do every day. Some people do every other day, which I think is a little bit pushing it, but so if you do every day and night, you should be good. You want that humidity in there to be around 60 to 80%. And so misting's pretty easy. It is daily maintenance, which you can get around with an automatic mister, which I'll show somewhere on the screen. I can't really see where it's at because after editing, guys. But if you have that misting under control, you should be fine. And with your hydrometer in their cage, which is measuring the humidity, it's obviously going to measure the temperature. What's great about these guys is they can thrive at room temperature. Now, obviously room temperature varies, so I think it was like 75. That might be a little high. I think it was like 72 to 80 is the preferred temperatures. Above 80 is really hot, and heat can kind of kill them fast, so you want to watch out for that. But if you have a room temperature, obviously you have room temperature, but if your cage is at room temperature, you should be fine. Lighting, these guys don't need UVB. A lot of keepers provide it. I personally do not, just because it's one more thing you have to worry about with bulbs and everything. And since they are a nocturnal species, they're not going to have to worry about UVB or anything like that. But so that this is great. All you need is an LED light, which has some sort of LED, obviously, that you can buy a timer switch for that just turns on in the morning and turns off in the night, so they have a day and night cycle. So I'll have a timer pictured up here somewhere too. And what's great about this is if you're doing the timer plus the automatic mister, you have a fully taken care of setup. So automatically mist the cage, and it automatically turns on and off the lights. So if you have that, then you don't need to worry. So I'm going to have to end it here. You probably don't even want to see this anyway. You probably clicked off by now, but if you did see this video, the end of this video, then I want to say thank you for watching it. I really appreciate it. Liking and subscribing helps me a lot, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. But thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.